buoyed by a host of ministerial endorsements and suggestions to adopt the Made in India messaging app, both Zoho Corp and its Made in India Arattai are seeing a boom that possibly they never saw coming like this. And to talk about what they have planned to sustain this momentum and a whole host of other issues, I have with me none other than Sridhar Vembu, co-founder and chief scientist at Zoho Corp. So thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18. I'm here in your campus. It's a buzzing campus and lots of young people. I see a lot of young women working here. And interestingly, when I was coming at the reception, I saw this elderly lady taking care of almost a newborn child. And it felt nice to see that somebody could, the reception had made space for them. How would you describe Zoho Corp's campus and its culture, the company's culture?
First of all, thank you for coming here. Welcome to our campus. Really appreciate it. Namaskaram. So we are here, we look at ourselves as an extended family. That's how I'll describe it. That's why you saw the kids. We do take care of the child care because it's working parents, both father and mother. They can work more at peace if they know that their child is in a safe place. I want to add this. Today we have a demographic bust everywhere, particularly in the south, but all over India. So I encourage our own employees, get married, have children, and only if the company provides the environment can they even have it. So we try to go out of our way to help by providing the facilities here.
That's great to hear, and that's completely separate to what sometimes corporate culture can be, not just in India but all around the world. Mr. Vembu, I want to just quickly dive into this whole Arattai thing. I was speaking to Mani Vembu last week. I also tweeted about this, that this whole Arattai app is having a moment, and from 3,000 per day to 300,000 to I think 1 million after that. And Mani Vembu was telling me it's still sustaining at 1 million subscribers a day. But the biggest challenge is what to do next, isn't it? You weren't prepared for this surge. You somehow managed it. But everybody wants to know, what are you going to do to make sure that this rise and this momentum can be sustained?
Right now our focus is twofold. One, delivering on that end-to-end encryption that is in testing right now. Within the next 1 or 2 weeks, it should be rolling out steadily to all our people who are downloading it, people who have downloaded the app. That's the first step. And the next, we are also expanding our infrastructure. That was already in the works. That was slated for November. We are accelerating it. So that also the second one. Third, only after all this is done, we are making a lot of usability, small UX improvements, speeding up the app, speeding up the loading of screens, all of those refinements. In fact, all of those refinements were due to be done before we rolled it out, but our hands were forced a little bit. But so we are getting all that done. That's the internal focus. Externally, of course, we have to sustain the momentum. And what we are planning to do is all of the integrations one by one, the broader ecosystem. If you look at the Zoho suite itself, then you look at mapping tools, all of this, we are actively working on integrating all those, but it will take time. It's not immediate. The first set of priorities, make the app perfect, and then make all of the integrations available. So at least 2-3 months, we are extremely busy schedule now, rolling it out. Then along with it come then the marketing part. How do you make everyone aware? And we are also, and our marketing teams are busy at work on that priority as well.
So apart from this whole Made in India component, how will you sell Arattai to the public that already is very used to using other platforms? How will you convince them to change and come to this platform? Is it only because it is made in India, or is there more?
It is the same way why people are coming to Zoho Mail now. In fact, Zoho Mail adoption, I want to point out, it has happened organically and globally in the last 5-6 years. It is now the fastest growing email product, and it's our fastest growing product for us. How did this happen? It happened because over time we built a better product, really truly superior offering. We have the capacity to do it, and this is something customers in the US and Mexico and Canada and in Colombia and UAE, everyone will talk about that we have actually a powerful email platform. And so in a similar way, we hope to build the best messaging product. We already have experience building it in Zoho Click for the enterprise. So we are bringing all of those capabilities here for the consumer. So, so we hope to win the customer not just on Made in India, which we are proud of, also because it's a better product.
It's a better product.
Yes.
You know, interestingly, privacy is very closely linked to such products, and you have talked about 3 distinct cases of digital privacy. One you called the secret lover case, the ad violation case, and on these you have assured users that your data is absolutely secure. You can have intimate or any kind of private conversations, that's not going anywhere, and Zoho does not milk the data of the consumer for any kind of marketing purposes. The third scenario is the secret rebel case. On this, you have insisted that Zoho will have to follow certain governmental guidelines. What exactly do you mean by that? What is the risk in that case?
I started talking about this nearly 13 years ago in the US. In America, customers would ask us, because we are a Indian-made software, there were customers who are hoping that this software would offer them protection against the US government.
Yes,
interestingly, because it's foreign-made software.
Yes.
It's symmetrical. I would tell them openly in public, our events, look, it is not our job as a private company to secure you against your own government. Nobody can offer that. Nobody can assure you of that. We have to comply with the law here, the law of the land here. We are operating here. We have to comply with the law here. Anybody who promises that you are safe against the US government living in America because you use this software, they are lying to you or they're deluded. That's not happening. Okay? They have vast powers. I mean, you can go look up the USA Patriot Act if you want to know proof, evidence of this. Which is why I think it's not meaningful for any platform to offer in a jurisdiction, quote unquote, protection to the citizens against their own government. That is a broader point I'm making. Some people want to misconstrue that point, but it's always true in any jurisdiction. If we are operating in Dubai, we are subject to the laws and regulations of Dubai. We are operating in US, same thing, right? So in every jurisdiction, we have to obey those laws, and that is mandated. If we have employees there, we have revenue there, so that's inevitable that we have to do this. And so in that sense, I said no private company, not just Zoho, can guarantee that part of it. In other words, I was joking about if you want to be a secret rebel against your government, maybe this is not the kind of thing that you would be using. And I don't know what product you will be using because nobody can guarantee that to you.
Yeah. So just to simplify this for our audiences, there are many scenarios we have seen where because of certain investigations, police investigation, legal cases, companies face pressure to release certain user data or certain user activity. Many would feel that a US company is able to resist that pressure a little bit more against the Indian government or agencies. Would you be able to resist it as much?
US companies won't be able to resist very much more or anybody. They have operations in India. They have employees in India. They have assets in India. So it's not, it's not like anybody there pristine, everybody is through the internet. Internet services can be blocked. They have been blocked. So it is not, that's why I'm saying that to offer, if somebody wants to operate in India long term, they have to comply with the laws of India. And that's true for us, that's true for them. And we are operating in the US, they are operating in the US, we have to operate by US law there, and likewise with them. So I think this is a level playing field.
This is a par for the course.
Exactly.
That if you're doing anything illegal, companies will have to cooperate.
Will have bound by law in the local jurisdiction.
Given that, what would you say to address certain privacy concerns that people may have? Overall, big tech is facing this question.
Right. So that's why I said the second thing I said, the ad-based violation. Look, what do people on a daily basis? Most people are not rebels about the government, right? What they are facing, the kind of revulsion. I'm having a conversation with a friend. Suddenly an ad shows up that's very related to that. That feels like an intrusion, right? There's a distaste about it. Everybody feels that. That's true across every culture, it's true. This is the real charge against those companies. And they have not successfully ever rebutted it because they are doing it. It's obvious they are doing it. In fact, I've heard horror stories of how, if you post something about, I'm not well, this and that, pharma ads show up.
Yeah.
How did they show up, right? So this is really the violation here we are talking about. Then the secret lover case I talked about because that's the standard expectation of privacy. Anybody can have, should have all of that. And that I think in every jurisdiction, in India, the courts have recognized the right to privacy. It's very good, right? That the private or between any People
to
doing their
consulting
own private
adults.
this thing, consulting adults, that's none of anybody else's business. That is enshrined in Indian law too now, right? So those are the three cases I distinguished because it's important to distinguish these cases. Often we just sweep everything under the same carpet, but the second part is crucial. The business models matter. Our business model is we are not dependent on ads. We will not depend on ads. We don't want to harvest the data. We don't want to mine the data to show you ads. If you are talking about a vacation in Thailand, we don't want to show you Thai ads there. That's the important part. And I think most consumers will expect that from us, and we will stand by that.
Absolutely. But given everything, given the scenario as it prevails today, a lot of surge for Arattai and a lot of awareness about Arattai, but what do you think is your biggest challenge still? Is it infrastructure on the back end, or is it making people aware that there is this made in India, more secure, more private option available?
They can build the technology all right, we can scale the infrastructure. Definitely the distribution, getting it widely adopted is by far the biggest challenge. Okay, we can build the technology. We have already built most of it, and we are putting a lot of finishing touches now. But getting it widely adopted, that's definitely a challenge. I don't want to minimize it, and I don't want to overhype it. I don't want to say we have it covered. It has to happen steadily.
Yeah.
But we will stay the course.
Because, we recently had an experience where Koo, the other, social media app, shut down. It was initially had hype as a made in India platform, rivaling Twitter or X now, but it did not succeed. So what makes you confident that, Arattai will not go that way?
Sadly, the chapter was closed too soon on that, right? If they had the staying power, if they had a business to elsewhere, some other business, maybe a software business, whatever, funding it, they could have kept it going. For example, if one of the IT majors had acquired them, it could have been kept going. So in some ways, actually, I wish we had acquired them, but we were not ready yet. We didn't have all the strength yet. So that's why I think it requires a fundamental, you have the staying power. That's the thing. It's not that it didn't take off. You cannot expect anything to take off immediately in this, particularly when there are powerful incumbents. And many of our products succeeded only after 10 years.
Even Arattai is 4 years old.
Arattai is 5 years in development. Zoho Mail has taken like 12, 13 years before we found the first customers. Okay. So the question is not, will you succeed? Do you have the staying power? Okay. That is the question.
All right. But I just want to understand from you, this whole conversation around made in India. Why do you think it is so important that we've come to this cusp where the government even is openly promoting made in India products? There's a big Swadeshi push. Why is this so important for India going forward?
First of all, I'll back up. I've been involved in the Swadeshi technology movement for a long time.
Yes.
And the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, I've been actively involved in because it's out of conviction, it's out of passion. I returned to India because I want our nation to be self-reliant in technology. That's why I came back. So it is a passion for me. And same way I want to build this with rural talent. Now this awakening is happening broadly in our society, in government and in the private sector, everywhere. Why is that happening? Well, I've been saying this in many public meetings. I said our phones could be stopped in any moment. Our maps have been stopped before. At the time of need, the maps will stop working. Right? All of these, that is the weaponization of technology I talk about. Any of this could happen, and we know this will happen, and it has been threatened to happen. Then, rational people will seek alternatives. What do we build? How do we build this? We have the talent pool. It takes time, but we have the talent pool to build it. If we pool our resources together, as one company, we are spending a lot of our resources now, but the nation has vastly more resources. Companies across the nation, many tech companies have billions of dollars at their disposal. If we pool these resources together, we can build all of this technology. Now, for example, the Tata Group is now building the first fabs in India, which is really good, It takes many billions, but they have the resources to invest. And just like the fabs, in every sector, whether it's an operating system, databases, LLMs, it takes billions of dollars, but more than the billions of dollars, it takes a talent pool. We do have that. And on the other side of the coin, it is opportunity for our own youth and our own rural youth. So we talk about unemployment, underemployment, lack of challenges. Building all this technology is the employment. So both can be addressed by doing this.
Yes, absolutely. You've spoken very much about tapping into the rural talent, which you are leading yourself as. Before I talk more about that, you know, recently there was a case where Microsoft switched off the cloud services for the Israeli military because of certain allegations that were made against the Israeli military. So these examples are happening all the time.
Correct.
Do you think national sovereignty is very much or could very much be under threat of big tech companies?
Look, today we live in a world where big technology is essential to national sovereignty, national security, not to mention national wealth. Our value addition, GDP, that's the easy one. That's easy to understand. But national sovereignty and security, all of that are at risk because of technology, right? If you don't create the self-reliant technology, all of this are at risk. Now take that specific example. In fact, there was another news. Netherlands seized a Chinese invested semiconductor company yesterday. Seized is the right word. This is not news you would expect from Netherlands.
Yes.
Right? These are all capitalist countries, rule of law. A court ordered that seizure. So that's why I'm saying this is what is happening around the world, and what you saw about the Microsoft news. Earlier news was Microsoft stopped services to some European judge in the European Court of Justice. These are the kinds of happenings that clearly create the concern. Clearly an European company would not have done it because they are bound by European law. An Israeli company would not have stopped servicing the Israeli military. An Indian company cannot stop servicing the Indian defense, right? Which is why all this technology is vital to have. If we have to remain a sovereign, secure nation, we need the technology, we need to invest in the technology. There cannot be, this is not a political issue. Regardless of who's in power, which party is in power, these matters do not go away.
Absolutely. But then people will also ask a question that how do you stop Indian government from abusing these systems? Because that problem will also arise. Do you think that's a fair question to ask?
It is see, we are a democracy. We are a very boisterous democracy. We have legal protections. Supreme Court weighs in on all these matters all the time and everything, right? So, and we have a very vibrant press.
Yes.
So, I think those are the safeguards. We are a vibrant democracy.
At least it will be for us to decide what is right.
It's only for citizens, our citizens to decide. We get to vote on these issues. These become political issues, and political parties agitate all the time. So why is it that that is a safeguard really for the ultimately the government power? It is subject to the citizens' opinion, the free press, the judiciary, all of it. It's not purely technology. But only if you have the technology do we even get the option to vote on these questions.
Yes,
otherwise we don't. It's not in our hands then.
So you talked about a whole of nation approach, that it's instead of just one company here and there, everybody should pool in their resources. What do you think India should be doing in this regard with government help or with companies coming together?
Yeah. This is something I have proposed before. We need a kind of a national technology mission where we identify those 100 critical technologies, 1,000 critical technologies. I don't mean just AI or any of the hot topics now. Take metallurgy, advanced alloys, steel, advanced steel formulations, and pharmaceutical molecules, and robots. In all of these materials, advanced materials, carbon composites, which is critical for defense, and motors, permanent magnets, rare earths. Rare earths is hot in the news recently. Before that, magnets were hot in the news. Before that, you can keep on going. From Microsoft software to magnets. Everything is geopolitical now. Everything is geopolitical. So that means we have to identify all of these critical technologies, vital for our national sovereignty, our security, our well-being, all of it. We have to have a mission where we have a focus areas. Here's what I propose. We can annually rank our companies on this. How well, where do we stand? Where do we stand with respect to global competition? Where do we stand within India? We are a country which loves JEE ranks and NEET ranks. Why don't we rank companies on technologies? We can do it objectively. We can set up bodies to rank them objectively. Based on that, we can give out awards, like our civilian awards can depend on you produce the best technology in drones, right? And like chess awards, all of that, why don't we have it for technology? And then the LIC, all of those institutions can invest in these efforts. That's where the government bodies come in. Because the government bodies control a lot of capital, State Bank of India, LIC, they can invest in these efforts. And over a 5-10 year period, we can set up milestones. We need to reach there in drones, we need to reach there in jet aircraft, all of that. in 5-10 years, we can definitely make huge progress. That's what I hope to see.
Yes, but we also see that there is so much talent and so much entrepreneurship. Even in tech, a lot of young people or others are making so many products, but they don't have the right avenue, right. Stage. How do we do that? How do we tap into this potential that you've been talking about, particularly rural potential?
Yeah. For example, take the stage I talked about. This kind of a technology mission itself could provide a stage where you do annual rankings of these technologies, take 10 companies and rank them. Now there is a clamor, the competitive instinct goes in. There is a company here, a company there building drones, they compete with each other. And we can even publicize that, we can make that a spectacle. We know how to make a spectacle of all this. That's when our juices get flowing and we are saying, okay, we want to win this. And then rank it against global benchmarks. Do we have the best email system? Do we have the best chat system? Do we have the best drones? That's when we'll see the technology advance rapidly. And now our rural talent can be in the mix. We can conduct these in rural areas and invite participation. We do, for example, a startup in Tenkasi. And in a rural place, once the idea was proposed by my friend Anandan, I was skeptical. Hey, do you think there's enough thing to do this? But we found surprising reaction. Even the local community was very supportive of us, and we got hundreds of companies, hundreds of small companies coming and exhibiting there. That can happen in every district. Should have a startup event like this, and these technology competitions. That is how we can make it a national movement.
You come across so many stories where young boy has created some sort of a drone. Some man has created some motorbike, engine, and they just don't have the avenue to get that product marketed or product built.
These kinds of startup events can highlight those, and then this national technology mission I talked about can rank those, and then funding can flow from this. That is how we make it a kind of a movement. It will take time. This is not instantaneous. The first 1 or 2 years, we'll see proposals where we are not there yet. And then the third and fourth and fifth, you'll see more depth. In 10th year, magic. Wow, we have already reached there. We have very good products. That is how China, we all know, right? 10 years ago, what was the image of China? Today, what is the image of Chinese technology? They have come a long, long way. China now has very advanced capabilities. 15 years ago, they did not. But if we lay the foundation now, in 10 years, we can be there.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, we often see these controversies over language in India. Since we're talking about all of us coming together, in Bengaluru or Mumbai, people sometimes even get beaten up or harassed because they don't speak the local language. How do you look at these cases?
Yeah. So, first of all, I tell you, 90%, 95% of our population does not speak English. Okay. If you look at in Tamil Nadu, maybe about 80% definitely cannot understand English, 85% easily. Even in villages, the percentage is much higher in terms of purely only Tamil speakers. If I want to move to a state, if I'm going to move to UP, I should learn Hindi. It is out of respect. This is true in every country in the world, other than India, that you can go there and never speak the local language, right? So our states are actually huge, bigger than most countries now. So we have to have respect for the local culture, local language. That's important. People who say, I will refuse to speak the local language, I'm not in sympathy with them. You have to make the attempt. But it's easy to make the attempt. People are very forgiving. If I make, I speak even broken Hindi, people will help me out. But I say, I will not speak to you in Hindi. That is a problem, right? Same thing, if you come to Tamil Nadu and say, I will not even make an attempt ever. I have lived here 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but I will not make the attempt. That's what I think causes problem. So I do believe that if you move to a state, you should, and if you intend to live there, you should make the effort to pick up some of the local language. Then the people will come to you and help you out. So I think that is, it's only, kind of our human courtesy to our fellow beings. So.
Given your experience of building Zoho and building Arattai now and looking forward to the next stage, what advice will you give to other entrepreneurs, those who are starting up their companies? What advice would you give them?
Have a long-term vision. Stay committed long-term. Because entrepreneurship, there's a lot of, quick exit mindset, and that quick exit is a lottery ticket. You might win but you cannot plan on winning the lottery. It may happen, but it may never happen. It's just like the Arattai the explosion happened in terms of attention, we were not planning on it. We are grateful we got it, but that was not the plan.
Yes.
You can never have the plan of winning the lottery, but if you plan for the long haul, stay committed, maybe some good things will happen. That's what I will tell entrepreneurs.
What are we lacking still in encouraging many more Sridhar Vembus who want to make in India, build in India? What are we lacking?
In fact, I will give you a very unusual answer. We have to truly understand our nation, what is the talent in our nation. Because very often people complain, we don't have this talent or that talent. The latent, the inherent talent is there. The entrepreneurial challenge is to go find it and create it, train it and nurture the talent. That is the challenge. That has to be appreciated. Once we truly understand what is the talent out there, which is why I go to rural areas. I go there because there is so much latent, inherent talent that we have not tapped. And bringing that on stream is the real course of our development as a nation, and also it is the course of our social justice for all. So in a balanced development, balanced regional development, balanced development across all our people. So that is why it's important, and I hope entrepreneurs realize that, because truly understanding our nation, our demographic, our culture, that is the path to creating that kind of company.
But we also need very uniquely Indian products, right? Is there do you feel that there is not enough innovation happening where it is actually made for India and Indians, that we are aping or copying Western products?
Yeah, that will only happen after we gain the self-confidence to do it. People often say copycats. China was accused of being copycats. Japan was accused of being copycats. Korea was accused of being copycats. Then they came on their own. Today, youngsters are watching K-pop, very original K-pop, right? So how did this happen? Korea became a creative nation. China is is well on its way. So always you will be accused of being copycat in the beginning. Then over time, how do you learn music? You follow your guru, you follow your master. That's how you learn. And then over time, you develop a original style. It's the same thing in technology and products. Without building these products, we cannot build that original insights.
I want to speak to you about the H-1B visa. You've already mentioned how Indians on H-1B, with all the controversies going on, should look at coming back to India. But a lot of them voice this genuine concern whether India even has the infrastructure or the bandwidth to deal with them. People who've built their lives and careers and a certain lifestyle in US, for example. It wouldn't be very easy for them to give up and come back. And is India ready to even get a lot of this talent back?
Yeah, look, if people have the easy option of staying, they can stay, right? But if other nation says go back, what do you do? Right? Those are the people I'm addressing. Why stay in a place that no longer wants you? That's the person I'm addressing. They already have a green card, citizenship, they have the option of staying. It's their personal choice what they do. But if somebody they say go back to your nation, I'd say we should just come back. That's my attitude. And all of these issues you talked about. Look, I think I have the best life in the world in rural India. I have a mental attitude. I'm not sacrificing anything, by the way. I'm very happy in my village, and you can find that happiness. It is there. In fact, the food, the culture, all the festivals I participate, I don't want to miss it for the world. So I know I'm in heaven, really, as I'm personally concerned. I think you can build that attitude. When you have that attitude, India is very welcoming, very warm. If you have that attitude, you can also do very good work here. So that's what I believe.
But do you feel like some of our urban infra issues, like they keep coming up from Bengaluru, maybe even from Mumbai, Delhi, just urban infrastructure issues, those need to be sorted out if we really wanted to attract the best global talent, not just Indians, but the best global talent?
These are some of the largest cities in the world now. We are talking about 1.5, 2 crore populations. There's not that many Western cities, no Western city in that league, only perhaps Shanghai
or in Japan.
And Japan, Tokyo. And those have had a lot longer to deal with that influx. Okay, we are doing it in a very compressed time. Look at Bangalore in the last 30 years, right? How much the population exploded. When I was in IIT, Bangalore had fewer people than Chennai. Now it has a lot more people than Chennai, right? It's impossible to handle that growth. The best of governments will struggle with it. If you put the best government in the world, you give the Bengaluru's population growth, it's difficult. I'm not saying our government is perfect. I'm just saying it is a very hard problem. It's a very hard problem from funding, infrastructure development. During the time of infrastructure, all the bottlenecks around, all these are hard problems. My respectful suggestion is we shouldn't be flocking to our big cities so much. We cannot keep on throwing more and more people at the same big cities because it'll degrade. On the other hand, you come to Tenkasi, you come to Madurai, you come to all these places, it's much more of a relaxed environment. We don't face these population pressures. Mysore is a good example. I went there, I really loved Mysore, right? All of these cities are there. We can build technology there. So that's why I think we have to look at diversifying our in terms of our population base, where we locate all this. Because we're just saying one city growing so big, it's also a mathematical challenge. I like to bore with my analysis. I say that the infrastructure spend per capita itself grows fast with population. It's not a constant. If you add more people, you just add more infrastructure, that's not enough. The infrastructure grows non-linearly with population. That's the problem. That's a serious problem. So that's why we cannot build ever bigger cities. At some point, we have to diversify into smaller cities.
Well, finally, speaking about India's population challenge, tech, jobs and everything, I want to ask you about artificial intelligence. It's the big buzzword, has been for a while in the tech scenario. But for India, as a country that has a large population, already is very hungry for jobs for its youth, how much adoption of AI do you think India should go for? Should we be replacing, for example, certain type of jobs with artificial intelligence, given that we need more jobs?
Yeah. So first, what is a job? That itself comes into question, right? The kind of jobs that are there today, nobody would have envisioned 40 years ago. The fact that in Guduvanjeri this office exists and people are sitting in computers and doing something incomprehensible from the perspective of 1970s, 60s. What are all these people doing? Is it called a job? In fact, my grandmother would have said, this is not a job. You call this a job? This is not a job. You get paid to do this, right? So I think that's why I'm saying the definition of job keeps evolving. I am not a pessimist on the jobs question as much, but energy question, AI, the energy use of AI, that concerns me. We cannot have the current level of the LLM energy use. That's not sustainable for the planet. It's not affordable for India. The planet cannot afford it, India cannot afford it. So we cannot build gigawatt class power stations to fund all this, to provide power to all these data centers. So that is a bigger question. Now coming back to jobs again, it is actually whether software development jobs or whatever jobs go away, other kind of jobs. In fact, I always say there's so much work to be done. For example, restoring our ponds, our soil. So I don't call them farmer, I call them soil expert, water expert, plant expert, livestock expert. Those jobs could get paid well. School teachers, nurses, anybody dealing with human beings would get paid well. And technology part of it may go down because it's automated. That's okay. People dealing with human beings is a more valuable job than simply code, right? So that's why I think the jobs mix may change, but I'm not a pessimist on jobs. Indians are very creative. From art to sculpture to music to all our traditions, all of that can create jobs in a technology world. But there's a crucial assumption here. Who owns the productive facilities? Unless the capital, the know-how is here, we cannot, the circulation of capital will not happen. If we ship all our profits elsewhere, the circulation will not happen domestically. That circulation is what creates the jobs. Or to put it differently, if I have a factory in Tenkasi that produces everything automated, the profit from the factory could be funding Nadaswaram Vidwans from the livestock expert, the plant expert, the pond expert, the nature expert. That's the local economy. If the profits are shipped to Hong Kong or somewhere, it's not going into the system. So that's the difference. So that is a crucial question. It comes back to self-reliance again.
Yes, absolutely. But can I prick your brains a little bit more on this whole artificial intelligence question, because you raised the energy question. It is the next thing. I mean, if it's not the current thing already, can India afford to be lagging behind on this? If energy is such a big question, what do we do? Should we not get into the AI space at all?
We should get in, but there's a lot of smaller models. There's a lot of innovation possible on focused models. For example, this conversation can be live translated. That doesn't require a big model. That can be done in a smaller model. It can be translated to 25 languages. Those are the kinds of things that we can invest in for our Indian languages, all of it, the translation. We are investing in all that. And so those don't require the big LLMs. So there is a lot of innovation possible in the smaller models. Similarly, a lot of innovation possible in new foundational models where we can do this in a much more affordable way. So I think this is still, this is a very young field. We can innovate our way out of this.
Our way out of this. Okay, I like that. So I'll come back to Arattai at the end of it. Speaking to you and speaking to Manu Mevu earlier also, you both talked about how you were planning a big, reveal or some sort of a marketing campaign for Arattai in November. I think a lot of it has been taken care of. But what next? What next can we expect soon? Yes, text-to-text encryption will follow.
Yeah, that's coming.
It's
already in testing.
Yes.
Actually, as of today, it's in testing. It's under testing. Maybe after a week or so of testing, we'll roll it out. So that's where it is right now.
But in terms of taking it to the entire country, to the world, will you be launching some sort of a massive PR campaign soon?
First, we want to make sure the infrastructure is ready. We are putting in place, like I mentioned, the data center in Mumbai. All of that, we have accelerated the schedule, but we want to make sure all of that is ready. We are also fine-tuning our system servers so that we can handle a lot more traffic, 10 times, 100 times more traffic. We have to get all this ready before we launch those marketing campaigns.
Okay. Any message to the public who are listening to you? Why they should ditch their existing platforms and go for Arattai today?
We are in this for the long haul. We are a company with an ethical core. We value your privacy. We value that you own your data. We make sure that we stay in our lane. What you have entrusted us, we know the trust and the responsibility. So, and we have been around 30 years. So those are the confidence I'll give our public.
All right. I wish you the very best. Sridhar Vembu, thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18.
Thank you.